Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of the AFC South Roundtable. We are all excited because I think today marks the first episode of the AFC South Roundtable Season 2 because we actually have some damn football to talk about. Each and every single team in the AFC South is playing some real damn football this weekend. And that is right. We are going to be previewing each and every single game, getting all of the panelists' takes on each and every single game. So fasten your seatbelts, smash that like button as well, because we want to easily clear 200 live like buttons today. There's so much to be discussed. Let's go around the table, see how everyone is doing. Ruben, talk to me.
Dude, I am feeling good. I am ready. I can't wait. The season's finally here. I've been waiting for this since the final whistle against Baltimore. Let's freaking go. It's good to be back, and it's good to talk about football. That matters.
Oh, man. Absolutely beautiful. And I will tell you what, next to you is the gentleman that your favorite team is playing this upcoming weekend. Derek, how you feeling today, man? Talk to us.
I'm feeling great, man. It feels like Christmas all over again. You know, the football season, it's here. You know, it's just a few days away. And man, like Ruben said, it's finally time to talk about football that actually matters. The trash talk and all this other stuff, there's no substance to it until it actually happens and someone becomes victorious. So let's get into it.
Oh, Dalton, how you doing, man?
I'm good, man. Hey, Ruben, enjoy the show. Enjoy that number one spot because we are coming for that ass. Okay, we are coming.
Whoa!
I'm ready. I'm ready to take that spot. I'm ready to redeem ourselves after what happened at the end of the 2023 season, man. Let's get it.
Last but not least, Titans Rossi, what's going on?
Man, I'm ready, dude. I've seen all these power rankings from all the experts out there. And I swear every single one of them has the Titans like 28th or worst. So I'm like, come on, man, let's get this going. Let's have our Titans show them what it really is. I think we're going to be a lot better than that. So I'm excited, man. Let's get it popping.
Hey, you know what, guys? I am so excited. Because not only is today's episode the first preview episode of the season, but this is obviously powered by BetUS, the best sports book on the face of the planet when it comes into literally anything and everything that has to do with sports betting. And yes, you did hear me correctly. I am going to be previewing each and every single one of these games today, asking our panelists, and they already have all of these numbers on ready to go. Lines. I'm talking over-unders. I'm talking money lines. I'm talking point spreads for each and every single one of these games. And this sports book right here, folks, is not giving you some middle-of-the-road sort of promo. For signing up, they're matching 125% of not one, not two, but three of your deposits all the way up to $2,000. So you could turn that free money into easy money if you put your money where your mouth is and you are as confident about your team as I know a lot of our panelists are for the upcoming season. Man, this is a beautiful thing. Go on ahead and check out BetUS, best promo in the game, and let us know when you do right in the chat. All right, so starting off, I did want to have a conversation with Titans Rossi. Titans Rossi, you are going to be facing off against Caleb Williams, the man who paints his fingernails, in Chicago. All right, new look Chicago Bears. Give us your preview. What are your thoughts about this?
Man,
talk to me.
You know, with we've Caleb Williams has been the most hyped, probably one of the most hyped players going in to this season, and rightfully so. I mean, he's the first pick. He's like that generational quarterback pick. You know, everybody's talking about him. Hard Knocks, all this stuff. I released a short the other day. Bears fans coming out the woodwork, just talking all types of mad trash at me, and all that type of stuff. But what drives me nuts too is like all these people out there predicting the Bears, like, oh, we're going to win 13, we're going to win 14, 15 games and all this stuff. And it's like, hey, you know, you guys won 7 games last season. You got a new offensive coordinator. You got a rookie quarterback. Like, let's not get too insane here. Like, I understand it's Caleb Williams. Like, oh yes, it's Caleb Williams, the guy who paints his fingernails. This, that type of guy. But like, look, man, he's a rookie quarterback, and we got a lot of good players on that defense. And I'm not like gonna sit here and say, oh, we're gonna go out there and we're gonna beat the holy crap out of them and all this. But I think it's gonna be a close game to the very end. And Denard Wilson is going to put the heat on Caleb Williams. Like, Caleb Williams is talking about how, oh, I don't get nervous. Like, I don't get nervous at all. Like, I'm just this all of a sudden NFL legend and all this stuff. But I'm telling you, when Big Jeff Simmons comes barreling down at you, like, nervous is going to take over. Like, that's just going to happen. You know what I mean? So I'm kind of ready, dude. Like you said, like, this is week 1. Like, this is really where we start now. And we're going to see what these guys are made of. We're going to see what Caleb Williams is made of. We're going to see what Will Levis is made of. We're going to see what Anthony Richardson is made of, and Trevor Lawrence and Stroud, for that matter. Can Stroud come back? Can Trevor Lawrence silence the doubters? So I'm stoked, dude. Let's go.
So give me your final score prediction and a key to win this game and to come out on top. Talk to me.
I'm going to say the Titans 24 and the Bears 20.
Ooh.
Titans come out with an upset victory in Chicago, handing the rookie his first loss. Dalton, all right, man. Talk to me about your faith in the Tennessee Titans taking care of business against the Chicago Bears week 1. Thoughts on this and final score prediction?
Yeah, I mean, this one is a tough one for me just because, I don't know really what the Bears are. It's a very volatile team. I mean, you're seeing people predict them to have as many as 12 wins, and you're seeing people, predicting them to have like 6 or 7 wins. And look, they have a lot going for them. I think they have maybe the best wide receiver core in football, with Roma Dunze. They have DJ Moore, and they have Keenan Allen, and, obviously having a number 1 overall pick in a Caleb Williams, who is one of the better quarterback prospects to really ever come out, former Heisman Trophy winner. But, there are some downsides to them. I don't think Matt Eberflus is a very good head coach. I think that he is very much on the hot seat. I think that, if he comes out of the season 7-10, I think there's a good chance they move on from him because, I think that when they hired Eberflus, I don't think that it was a very attractive job. But I think where it stands right now, when you compare this 2024 Bears team versus the 2021 Bears team when they drafted Justin Fields with their first round pick, it's night and day. It's a night and day difference between these two teams. So I think that there's a funny thing with rookie quarterbacks. Like, sometimes it's good, like, for them. Like, it can be kind of tough to play a rookie quarterback like the first or second game of the year, just because, from then they don't have as much like game tape out on them. And then once like week 5, 6, 7 comes out, they can kind of attack their weaknesses. But I don't know. I think it's going to be a really, really back and forth game. I am one that I actually do like Caleb Williams, and I love their wide receiver core. And I honestly do think that there's just not enough out there on tape of them. So I do think that they're going to be able to beat the Tennessee Titans. I'm probably going to go with maybe a low scoring game, maybe like a 17-16. The Bears are going to win that one.
You heard it here first. Dalton thinks the Chicago Bears are going to beat the Tennessee Titans. Folks, please sound off in the chat and be a part of this conversation with us and give us your takes on these specific games as we cover them, final score predictions and all, as I move up to Ruben. Ruben, Tennessee Titans, Chicago Bears. How do you see this panning out?
This is actually a game that, I have Tennessee winning. I like the matchup against a week 1 quarterback. My quarterback, CJ Stroud, he struggled in week 1, did not score a touchdown. The offense didn't. So there is some growing pains here. There is a welcome to the NFL moment here. And I think Tennessee is going to have an opportunity, right, to kind of feel themselves and take advantage of that week 1 matchup. I think it's all going to come down to, Will Levis. I think he's, like Rossi said earlier, he has to prove that he is the guy. So I think this will be a perfect game for them and a game to kind of, put the NFL on notice because everyone's going to be watching how Caleb Williams performs Well, imagine Tennessee comes in and just ruins the day for them. Then everyone's going to be talking about the Tennessee Titans. This is a matchup that I definitely have them winning. And, like Dodson said, I am a big Caleb Williams fan. I am rooting for him. They have a dangerous offense, and if they figure it out, it's going to be pretty scary there. But I have Tennessee winning close, 17-14.
Derek, what do you got, man? It's 2-1. Talk to us.
Yeah, it's definitely a very interesting game because Chicago has a ton of new faces, especially on that offensive side. And, they don't have a ton of offensive cohesion yet. I know throughout training camp, we've seen Caleb Williams has been absolutely phenomenal, which is definitely good to see if you're the Bears from that perspective. But again, you can only do so much in training camp. When you get in between those lines and you're playing at that kind of level and you have a couple 300-pounders coming at you for real, it is a different story. And, as much as I mess with Rossi about the secondary and the defense and the overhaul over there, I mean, there's a couple things that they haven't changed, and that's the philosophy in which they have a front four that definitely can get after the quarterback. They have a couple guys up there that 100% can make Caleb Williams just seeing things that he doesn't want to see. And they definitely can get after him, and they can make his life hell. I don't necessarily believe in the Bears offense yet. And I certainly don't really have a ton of faith in Matt Eberflus as the head coach of the Chicago Bears. So until they prove me otherwise, I'm not gonna vote for them because they've made a lot of moves that make you think they can definitely turn the tide. But again, there's a lot of we don't know right now, and I think they have more unknown than Tennessee does. And I think that Tennessee has the better coach. I think that they have a better roster in some areas where it matters, and especially for a first game where there's going to be jitters, there's going to be a lot of inaccuracies and a lot of things that need to get fixed. So yeah, it'll be a low scoring game, but I'll take Tennessee to win it. I kind of like that score that Ruben had, 17-14. I think that definitely is a number that I could see Tennessee winning at.
Look at that, folks. You heard it from the panelists. All right. 3-1. The Tennessee Titans take it home. Dalton, obviously the outlier there, saying Chicago is going to shock the world with the Caleb Williams performance, his inaugural performance. And speaking of Dalton, tell you what, Dalton, the Jacksonville Jaguars, the Battle of Florida. All right. You are heading on down to Hard Rock Stadium, down to Miami to face off against the Miami Dolphins. I'm sure you have been doing your due diligence, understanding exactly what you were going up against. Talk to us. Give us your full preview and wrap it up with your damn prediction for us.
Yeah, I mean, like I said last week, I think this is a really tough draw for the Jaguars to, right off the bat. Miami's that team that, if a Super Bowl was played in October, the Miami Dolphins would probably be Super Bowl champs, under Mike McDaniel. They start off so hot just because they have, so much speed. They obviously are very talented as well, especially at the skill positions. And, it's played right down there in Miami. Really, the Jaguars this game, I think that toward the end of last year, the Jaguars were just terrible at stopping the run. And I think that this game, I think a big key is just to be able to stop the run. We've got to be able to, hold 8-chain to, 3 yards per carry, something like that. So, if you can stop the run, then you don't need the additional help from the safeties because, the safeties are going to have a lot of work to do when it comes to making sure Tyreek Hill does not go over the top on you. And not only do they have Tyreek Hill, but they have Jalen Waddle who can beat you as well. I mean, they have a really good 1-2 punch in those players, and it's just going to be really, really tough defensively to be able to stop those guys. I mean, you almost have to budget or you almost have to kind of put in your game plan that Tyreek Hill is probably going to get at the very worst 70 to 80 receiving yards, but there's a very real chance that he might put up 130 yards on you. So you're going to have to, build a game plan around the fact that might just happen to you. So with this one, I do think that one advantage that the Jaguars might have is the trenches. The Jaguars, I think that offensively and defensively, the trenches might be better than what the Dolphins have. So, with this one, though, I am scared about it. I'm not going to lie. I am scared. I think last I checked, BetUS, the Jaguars are 3.5-point underdogs. The Jaguars, the first 4 games of the season are brutal for us. It's brutal. I mean, the Jaguars go to Miami, then they're at home against the Browns, then they go to Buffalo on Monday Night Football, then they go to Houston as well. I mean, I don't think you can have a tougher start to a season than that. I'm really hoping the Jaguars can just come out of that stretch 2-2. And unfortunately, with this one, I actually do have the Jaguars losing. I'm on record to say that. I'm going to be cheering my ass off, but I'm going to put my bias. I mean, you guys know me. I'm never biased on the show. I'm never biased. So I'm going to continue to be unbiased here. I'm unfortunately saying the Jaguars are going to lose this one. I'm going to say 27-23, but I'm going to be cheering my ass off for the Jaguars and hoping that we can upset the Dolphins week 1 in Miami.
Folks, you heard it. So our good friend Dalton thinks that they are going to start the season off 0-1. I do want to remind everybody that we do have a poll in the chat right now. All right, only 75 of you have voted. Let us know what team you are currently representing in the poll, man. 192 of you rocking with us right now. 175 on YouTube, 17 of you on X. We appreciate that, guys. Run up the like button number. We want to make sure that this show gets propelled out to the YouTube algorithm for more people that are thirsty for NFL Week 1, specifically the AFC South. Titans Rossi, all right, man? Talk to me from an outsider looking in. Jacksonville Jaguars, Miami Dolphins. Who do you got?
Yeah, I mean, Miami typically starts off really fast in the season, and then they just seem to kind of tank at the latter half of the season. Like, I think, it could be the case for them this season. I don't think Jacksonville is going to be a laydown game by any stretch of the imagination. I am kind of with Dalton on this one. I think, Miami might get the better of them, but, I honestly, I'm not like a huge, obviously I'm not a Dolphins fan, I'm a Titans fan, but I'm not like a big, supporter of Tua and all that. Like, I don't think he's that good of a quarterback, to be honest. Like, the guy, we played him last year. It was the one game, that Monday night game where we came back and miraculously won the game. That was one of the few high moments of the Titans season. But if you can get that guy a lot of pressure and get him running around. Now, I don't know if he had what's his name, Tyreek Hill in that game or not. I'm not sure. But if you take Tyreek Hill out of the game, it's hard for that offense to function. It's amazing how much goes through Tyreek Hill in that offense. So if you take him out of the game, even with Waddle, Jalen Waddle is good, but he is not a Tyreek Hill. And I don't know. I just feel like it's going to be a close game. I feel like since the Dolphins are pretty healthy, I mean, Waddle's kind of banged up. I know Beckham's banged up, but I think this being the first game, they're probably going to pull it out. I'm going to say 27-21 Dolphins.
27-21 Dolphins. 2 of the panelists have the Jacksonville Jaguars going 0-1. I want to revert up to Derek. Derek, thoughts? The Jaguars, the Miami Dolphins. Who do you got?
I'll be honest. I think this could potentially be a shootout. I think both offenses are going to have a heyday in this first game. And, I hate saying that too, because I think right now, as it stands, the Jaguars have some of the better weapons defensively in certain areas, at least at full strength. Right now, I mean, I'm just even looking at the depth chart for the Miami Dolphins just right now. And, the amount of guys on their defense that are either out or could potentially be out for week 1 or dealing with some kind of hurt. I mean, it's amazing. I mean, practically their entire secondary is dealing with it. So, I mean, there's a lot of opportunities here for the Jacksonville Jaguars to take advantage. I mean, their offense has looked insanely good through the preseason. Trevor Lawrence looks in tune with everybody that's there. And we know, of course, some of the guys on their defense and just how good they are. But again, we also know, like Dalton said at the beginning, early in seasons, Miami just turns it to a whole nother level, and their offense is just simply it's virtually unstoppable. I mean, there's really not a lot of ways to actually stop it because there's just nobody else that has a defense that matches the speed that they have and the kind of offense that they run. It just blazes past everyone. So I think that it can still definitely be close. I think that Jacksonville can get a few turnovers and can, be able to keep their offense going. But I still think that the Dolphins will edge it out since they are at home. And they, like I said, their offensive firepower may just prove to be just a tad too much. I'll say 35-28 Dolphins.
Look at that as we end up having our first super chat of the evening. Thank you, Fire God. Darby held Tyreek to 6 yards last season, by the way. Let's let everybody know the Jaguars are not completely out of the equation. All right, Ruben, talk to us, man. Are we all going to agree that the Dolphins are going to win this game, or is this a wild card? Talk to us. Thoughts? Dolphins, Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah, man, I have to agree here. I think that Miami does take this one, but I think it is close, and I think it is a high-scoring game. I'm going to go 38-35. I think you have two young quarterbacks who just got paid, who want to show their fan bases immediately right at the gate that they absolutely deserve that money. With Trevor Lawrence, he just got Brian Thomas Jr. He has a great, receiving / tight end and Evan Ingram, plus a damn good running back in Travis Etienne. I think they're going to be able to go shot for shot with, the Miami offense is just going to be which team makes the mistake first. And with Miami, we know that at this time of the football year, the first couple of months, they are damn near unstoppable. I mean, we were talking about Tyreek Hill potentially being an MVP type of guy with the season he was going on. I think it's going to be a fun game, a game that Dalton could, can come after and say, you know what, even though we took the L, I saw a lot of things that made me excited for the rest of the season.
Well, folks, right before we move on to the Indianapolis Colts and the Houston Texans preview, which is the game of the week because it's in the division, I need to go ahead and show you guys some absolute sauce. Now, say, for example, you like the AFC South Roundtable. You enjoy it each and every single week. I'm going to go ahead and show you this absolute masterpiece that we have right here, guys. Look at this. We ended up releasing a bunch of different merchandise inspired by campaign season. All right, look at that. We have the Indianapolis Colts. Make the Colts great again. Make the Jaguars great again. All right, we have Stroud Collins 2024 merch. We have Richardson Steichen 2024. We have Lawrence Thomas 2024. And of course, we can't forget our good friends over at the Tennessee Titans. Levis Hopkins 2024. We have all of this stuff that just ended up dropping in our merch store right now. If you are trying to support the channel, if you are trying to upgrade your gear for the upcoming season, we highly recommend that you check out our merchandise. Link is in description. And let's go on ahead and move on. All right, to the big game. The big game, baby. The Indianapolis Colts versus the Houston Texans. We have seen Ruben and Derek go at each other for the past couple of weeks. We've heard Derek say several times, I cannot wait for week one. Let's see what happens. Derek, you know what? Take the floor, man. What do you got for this game? Indianapolis Colts, Houston Texans. You mentioned you may be there in person. You're definitely going to have to send us some videos, some pictures, etc. But what do you got, man? Talk to us.
Super excited, man. I know Colts Nation is fired up for this game. Lucas Oil Stadium. It's going to be packed. It's going to be loud. I mean, even CJ Stroud said it, that, that environment and that playoff win and playoff in environments, it was definitely there, admitted that. So I'm fully expecting it to be just like that on Sunday because everybody knows what's at stake. Obviously, it's just the first game of the season, but there is a lot of bragging rights, and there is the 1-0 start and a win over a division rival on the line. So I'm looking forward to this, man. Jonathan Taylor and Anthony Richardson finally sharing the backfield for more than one snap this year. finally getting a chance to see what that can do against this Texans team, who I said, if you attack them with the run, it's going to be what can win us this game. I'm still interested to see if Josh Downs ends up playing in that game. He ended up having he did end up spraining his ankle at the early part of training camp because of a 7-on-7 incident. And they said that he's been making great progress, but they still haven't decided yet on if he's going to play week 1 against the Texans. And that can be a huge loss for the Indianapolis Colts if Josh Downs is not available to play. Shane Steichen will have to adjust, and I don't know who will play in the slot. Might be rookie wide receiver Adonai Mitchell, who has to take a lot of those snaps. But, man, I'm super excited for him, man. I cannot wait for this game because you're going to see two powerhouses going at it, two teams that are looking to make their name in this division, and it's going to be a lot of fun, man. I can't wait for the Indianapolis Colts to finally break the week 1 curse and finally put to bed a win against Houston and start the season off right.
Oh, man. What's the final score prediction?
Let's say final score 28-24 Indianapolis.
28-24. A big showing from Jonathan Taylor, it sounds like, leveraging against some of the question marks with that run defense. Shout out to our boy Larry Hester for coming on in. Nice little donation for the boys. Appreciate that. One good hit on Tua from Trayvon Walker. Game is over. All right, look at that. That was probably had to do with since TD Finstock was in saying that the Dolphins are going to beat the Jaguars 60-10. Paul Wilson, $10 donation, says, I will be getting drunk on Texan tears all day Sunday at the Drum. Paul Wilson, man, he is he's feeling that same excitement. And then last but not least, we have one more super chat before we hear from Ruben himself. Let's go Colts, baby. My boy Derek is representing. Man, I'll tell you what, man, we have a large Colts showing today in the chat. In fact, I'm looking at the poll right now, guys. 151 of you have voted in the poll. And fun fact, only 75 of you have smashed the like button.
Come on, guys.
All right, smash that like button, folks. Let's get this up to 150. And the Texans fans are leading right now within the poll, 35%, followed by the Jaguars at 28%, Colts at 23%, and the Titans at 15%. Ruben, talk to us, man. Thoughts on this game coming up? Give us your preview and your prediction.
Look, man, I am excited, not only for this game, but for this season. And here's the thing, the Indianapolis Colts better be ready because we're going to war. And no one's talking about all the pressure on Anthony Richardson this game. He is going to have everyone watching him. If he does not play good on Sunday, if he looks bad, there are going to be a lot of people talking. Hell, there are already a lot of people talking about Anthony Richardson not being the guy. So much so it got Derek and his co-host so mad they did a whole 30-minute rant about it on their YouTube channel. Here's the thing. The Houston Texans, they've prepared this season. They added a 1,000-yard rusher in Joe Mixon. They added Stephon Diggs on the defensive side. 3 new starters on the D-line, one of them, Daniil Hunter. And what did he do? Just 16.5 sacks. And then you have the reigning defensive rookie of the year, Will Anderson Jr. on the other. This Houston Texans team did all the work in the offseason on both sides of the ball. They have key guys returning. One of the guys who we just have not talked about is our offensive coordinator, Bobby Slowick, who returned another year to call plays for this Houston Texan offense. Man, we are ready to go. We're going back to Indianapolis, the Stroud House, as Pat McAfee likes to call it. Let's go.
All of that, Ruben, all of that to try and beat Anthony Richardson, man. That's all. That's
We're not
crazy.
worried about
That's
Anthony
crazy.
Richardson. We're not worried about him, bro. We're not worried about him. I heard his song the other day, man. I feel like he's a better rapper than a quarterback, bro. And I can't wait to show that on Sunday.
Well, he is a pretty dang good rapper. I will admit that.
Now I had to step away for a second, but so did we hear a final score prediction from you?
Oh, I'm gonna go 30-20. I think it's going to be
30-20.
hard for this Indianapolis Colts team to keep up with this Houston Texan offense. You have 3 legit number 1 wide receivers. You have a tight end in Dalton Schultz, who we haven't even mentioned at all this offseason, returning on a 3-year deal. This offensive line is finally healthy. They did not play one single game together last year. And week 2 against the Indianapolis Colts, there was no Laramie Tunsil. There was no Titus Howard. They didn't come until week 5. They now get their first opportunity this season. Overall, this Houston Texans team is entering this game healthy and ready, and they have Super Bowl aspirations. And like our safety, Jimmy Ward, said, this is a must-win game. And I cannot wait, dude. This is the season that Houston Texans fans have been waiting for 20 plus years, and it starts against Indy.
Look at that. Now, Derek, so did you find it somewhat disrespectful for the 20-10 with that prediction?
I'll tell you what. I mean, look, I'll say this. When it comes to it, obviously we beat the Houston Texans on the road by double digits in week 2. I mean, anything can happen. But yeah, it is a little bit disrespectful, to be like, hey, you're going to win by that much on the road. I mean, I know you're getting all high and mighty with your team now, Ruben. Listen, you got all them new pieces. You're looking real nice and all that. And with all the new chains, you got that slick jacket on and everything else.
You got no new
down
pieces.
The street, thinking
you did nothing
cool.
in the offseason for your team.
When you step out of that car, man, it all that don't mean nothing when you get on the gridiron, baby. Let's go.
The one that's driving the car is D'Amico Ryans, and what was he, a finalist for head coach of the year last year? Here's the thing. We got the chains. We got the jury. What did you do for your quarterback? Absolutely nothing. What did you do for that horrible secondary that C.J. Stroud torched with only Nico Collins for 195 yards with no Tank, no Robert Woods? You didn't do nothing for that secondary. You guys both said on your show today you're going to be looking for 2 new safeties next year. You did nothing for your secondary. You did nothing for your weapons outside of adding A.D. Mitchell. And you want to compare that to what we did on both sides of the ball, spending the big money, making the big trades?
And here's the thing he's forgetting. Once again, I understand you talking about your pieces. You ain't talking about the fact that you had to play against Gardner Minshew and a trash offensive scheme because of Gardner Minshew's lack of ability. Again, I remind everyone before Anthony Richardson went out in that game with a concussion, proceeded to run for 2 rushing touchdowns in the first 5 minutes against that Houston team. I don't care what additions they added to that defense this year. That ain't going to fix the fact that they can't stop the run. Anthony Richardson is going to have more of that, and it's going to be fun watching this offensive scheme open up. And there's going to be a lot of fun.
The amount of faith that they are putting in a quarterback when he played 8 quarters is insane. There's a reason why you have national media guys looking at his preseason tape and saying, yeah, this dude isn't a quarterback because he's throwing pick sixes against future podcasters and car salesmen. And you're going to think he's going to come into week 1 against a defense who also has arguably one of the best cornerbacks in the game, Derek Stingley, shutting down one side of the field. We haven't even talked about what he's going to do
versus Michael Pittman Jr.
Michael Pittman Jr. last season did not have over 70 yards against this Houston Texans team, and 1 game was with Derek Stingley, and 1 game was without. So don't even talk to me about Michael Pittman Jr.
A few plays away from beating yours last year with inferior quarterback play, nowhere near the offensive firepower, and a newer in the experience.
If Anthony Richardson is your starting quarterback for the full season, and not Gardner Minshew, you're not even in playoff contention.
There's a lot of quarterbacks that could have done what Gardner Minshew did last year, bro. Let's try not to act like he was worthy of that
Pro Bowler. He was a Pro Bowler.
He was not a Pro Bowler. The NFL felt they couldn't find anybody else to go.
The only guy that scares me on this
Pro Bowl, man. He was the only one that accepted the invite.
Oh my God. All right, listen, we have Loki came in and said, how do the Colts stop our wide receivers? He's high.
They can't. He's high.
904 Duval saying Duval Jesus T-Law. about to run over ponies, cows, and trash pandas. Duval till we die. 904 Duval. Thank you so much, man. We appreciate the contribution here. Paul Wilson, he's saying Colts all-time 32-12-1 against the Texans and their bandwagon fans. Paul wants to let all the Texans know where it stands. And then again, look at that, Ruben. Look at that. Ruben needs to get his excuses ready for next week. Well, folks, listen,
I'm here. I'm not going nowhere, right? If we want to talk about the last time we played the Colts week 18. You guys keep on talking about week 2, bringing up the past. So I'm ready to go. So the excuses you're going to have is, well, it's his first game in 2 years. This is the first time he faced a schematic defense in 2 years. I'm not going to take none of that on Tuesday, Derek, when we beat your ass. I am not going to hear none of that. We are going to make your quarterback look like a future podcaster. I can't wait.
Oh, my. All right, listen. And you know what, guys? I always love super chats like this because it says that he better get his excuses ready. I always recommend that you subscribe to all of these guys' individual channels because they do live game reactions. So if there is a world, all right, where the Colts do end up getting the best of the Houston Texans, guess what, Colts fans? You can hop onto Ruben's stream and start chirping him right during that damn day. All right, same thing for Derek. For Texans fans, I want to chirp Derek while he is live streaming his games for the remainder of the season. Go ahead and subscribe to him as well. They do a great job over there. And then one other super chat just came in, Titan. Everybody in here better tighten up with a fire emoji.
Does he have a Jaguar logo as his profile picture?
It sort of looks like lungs.
It looks like a tiger.
I think it's a teal Jaguar.
It might be. Yeah. Hey, look at that.
That's what's up. Tighten up and go Jags, right?
It's a blue tiger. Well, listen, guys, we just heard from our panelists that just so happen to be covering the teams that are going against each other on week 1. So hopefully we can get some more objective takes from our other panelists. Dalton, thoughts, man? So you have the Indianapolis Colts and the Houston Texans facing off in Indy. Thoughts on this game, your preview, and final score prediction?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a little bit jealous that I don't get a week 1 division matchup because that looked like a lot of fun. I know, Jags are playing against the Dolphins, both in Florida, but there's really no rivalry there. And of course, I don't think there's anything going on between the Titans and the Bears, but with this matchup, this is going to be a lot of fun. Anthony Richardson is back. Shane Steichen can finally kind of play his offense the way he actually wants to play it because we all know that Pro Bowl Gardner Minshew does have his limitations, and you got to kind of shorten up the playbook a little bit for them. And, the Texans this offseason, reloaded. I mean, they look like they are poised for a potential Super Bowl run. I know a lot of the national analysts believe they all have them in their top 5, power rankings. They all have them winning the AFC South, this and that. But I don't know. With this one, I truly believe that the Texans are going to be a good team this year. But I do think that there's a chance that they come out slow. They come slow out of the gates. I think that there is a chance that maybe they start sleeping on some opponents. And I think that the Colts are going to come out there eager. I mean, they're not going to forget about what happened in week 18 of 2023, where, they dropped the pass to basically lose the game. And, Anthony Richardson is here too. And, we all know that the way to beat the Texans is to be able to pound the ball with them. And my question really is man, if they have the balls to be able to allow Anthony Richardson to run the ball, I really do think that they have a shot to win this one. My big thing is do they actually want Anthony Richardson to run the ball? I mean, for me, I'm probably going to allow him to run the ball just because he has that ability, and I might chalk it up as, okay, that injury was a fluke. It's not going to happen again. I mean, if you have a guy that's the size of Josh Allen, I mean, when you look at the Bills, one of the Bills' best weapons is to be able to have a Josh Allen be able to power run it. I wonder if they want to be able to do the same thing with Anthony Richardson, because when you do the quarterback powers, it allows for you to have an extra runner in there. And also now you actually get to see the true two-headed duo between Jonathan Taylor as well as a Anthony Richardson. So I'll be honest with you. I think this one is back and forth. And I actually do think that the Colts shock some people. I think that the Colts actually win this one 31-27.
31.
Go Dalton!
7. The Indianapolis Colts with a damn upset, man. I love it. I'm feeling it, man. And then we have Austin coming in. Hey, dude, he's high on the Colts right now. I thought Derek was high on the Colts, but he says Colts will win the Super Bowl. I promise you that. A-Rich MVP. All right.
It's every other. That's every other chat in my live streams.
That's every Super Bowl for the Colts, folks. You heard it here first. Titans Rossi, talk to us, man. Indianapolis Colts, Houston Texans. Who do you like? Final score prediction.
Yeah, man. I mean, I need Stephon Diggs to have a game because he's in my paid fantasy league. So, I mean, either way, whoever beats the crap out of each other, I don't really care. But, I need Stephon Diggs to have a hell of a game. But no, I mean, look, the Texans, they look good on paper for sure. I mean, and they were good last season too. I mean, CJ Stroud having the season that he did, the Texans turning it around the way that they did. Not many teams do that. You know what I mean? And all the people that they added on the roster, Diggs, all these people that they added, it just made them even better. But somebody brought it up in the chat. I mean, the Texans have only beat the Colts like 11 times since the Texans' inception in 2002. And I think there is something to that. I do. And last year, the Colts did get them all by week 2. I know the pass is the pass, Ruben. It was week 2. Obviously, the Texans were a much better team towards the end of the year than the Colts were. But the Colts, you know what, man? They hang on. They just hang on. Even last year with Minshew and all that, they kept a lot of games close. I mean, even the last game versus the Texans, 23-19. So, and the Texans, got them that game. But look, I've been to the Colts Stadium. I've been up there. Actually, it was the game that Anthony Richard, I don't know if it's the first game he got hurt, Anthony Richardson, and Minshew came in. There was a Colts fan sitting next to me. I said, oh, now we're going to lose for sure because it's freaking Gardner Minshew, and he's a Titan slayer for whatever reason. But, yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be a lot tougher than a lot of people think going against the Colts because that is a loud stadium. I've been there before. I've witnessed it. I don't know if it's the way it's shaped. I doubt it's because of the fans are that crazy. I highly doubt that. But it could just be the way the acoustics are and, maybe they're pumping some noise in. Who knows? No, I'm just messing with you, Derek. But but it is a heck of a stadium for real, and it's a tough place to play. And I think the Texans are going to get them though, and I think it's going to be probably about I would say 34-27. The Texans.
34-27. All of these predictions, folks, very high scoring. Chat, again, let us know what you think in the chat of this game. As Fire God says, hey, Titans Rossi, #squirm. With the laughing emoji.
Squirm.
The laughing emoji.
Squirm.
Have some people already joking about this entire situation. I absolutely love it. I want to move on to a new segment. We were going to make this a pre-recorded video, but we're just going to give this to you right now. This segment is brought to you by BetUS, guys. BetUS, hands down, the number one sports book on the face of the planet when it comes into everything and anything sports betting. All of the lines on week 1 are available right now. So if you're feeling froggy, take advantage of the best promo on the planet. They right now are matching 125% of your first 3 deposits all the way up to $2,000. Link is in description and also in the pinned comment. Highly recommend you take advantage of this limited time deal. It is the place to be. Gentlemen, I want to talk about hot takes, right? As far as, excuse me, as far as score predictions, those are super easy. But give us something that's hot right off of the press, something that a lot of us aren't going to be expecting from each and every single one of our games. I'm going to talk Titans Rossi first. Give me a hot take for something to look out for the Tennessee Titans and the Chicago Bears on Sunday. Talk to me.
Yeah, I mean, I think the hot take is the Titans are going to get to Caleb Williams. Like, I think they're going to get to him, and I don't think Caleb Williams is going to have the game that that everybody thinks he's going to have. I mean, I think we're going to put a lot of pressure on him, and it's going to be a welcome to the NFL moment. And, I think we're going to sack him. I'd say we're going to sack him 5 or 6 times. That's my hot take.
5 or 6 times sack.
Yeah.
For Caleb Williams. I'm looking forward to that.
Don't bet on that one. I don't know if I'd bet on that, but no, I'm just kidding.
He said, don't bet on that one, folks. All right, Dalton, moving on, facing off against the Miami Dolphins. A lot of speed right there, obviously. Give me a hot take for the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Miami Dolphins game.
Yeah, man, I think that honestly Trayvon Walker is probably gonna have a monster year. I know in 2022 there was a big debate about, why are you taking Trayvon Walker over an Aiden Hutchinson? But Trayvon Walker had double-digit sacks last year. He's no slouch, and when they drafted him, is more so about like year 3 and year 4 as opposed to year 1 and year 2. And he's been having a monster offseason. So I really think that Josh Hines-Allen and Trayvon Walker are going to combine for 4 sacks this upcoming game.
4 sacks against a very weak Miami Dolphins offensive line, folks. Do keep that in mind. All right, moving on right to the Indianapolis Colts and the Houston Texans game. All right, we saw them bickering back and forth. And I'm hoping this segment once again reignites the bickering because I enjoy it. I sincerely enjoy it. Derek, talk to me. Talk to me. Hot take, Indianapolis Colts, Houston Texans, Sunday. What do we got?
Running the ball over 150 yards incoming for the Indianapolis Colts running the ball. And I said it a few weeks ago. I think it was actually 2 weeks ago. Laiatu Latu with 3 sacks against the Houston Texans. I have it coming right now. So Laiatu, 3 sacks.
Against who?
It doesn't matter who. It doesn't matter who. Doesn't matter who. It doesn't matter who.
The
they
Pro Bowl
just
left
wherever they
tackle?
want to.
And I'm delusional.
It's a hot
we're
take
predicting
for a
a
reason,
3-sack game
Let's
from
do
against Laramie Tunsil of all people.
It
I'll
doesn't have
give you
to be
mine.
Laramie
Everyone's going to be
Tunsil, bro.
talking about the
Doesn't have to
Houston
be Laramie
Texans
Tunsil.
defense, man, making Anthony Richardson just look like not a quarterback. They're going to be saying Will Anderson Jr. and Daniil Hunter were creating pressure the entire time, and they're going to say that this secondary was locked down. They're going to say we were excited about the offense all year, but this Houston Texans defense really showed up and swarmed. I can't wait.
All right. So, Ruben, I did want to point that out because the first part of his take was that this Indianapolis Colts team is about to dominate on the ground. As far as your run defense last year, is that so much of a hot take, or do you see the Houston Texans being successful in stopping the run?
No, it's a fair take from him. JT, week 18, he gashed it. He was one of the reasons why the Indianapolis Colts were in that game and almost took it. However, you have 3 new starters on the defensive line, and one of them was Daniil Hunter. I think people are forgetting how great of a player Daniil Hunter is. Then you have Will Anderson Jr., the reigning defensive rookie of the year. Who are you going to be able to double? And then you got 2 new starters in the middle of Mario Edwards Jr. and for Lorenzo Fatukasi. So the interior would be a small concern for me, but he is right to say that the way to beat the Texans is on the ground, and I just cannot wait for that notion to die after the game.
Interesting. All right, Ruben, give me your hot take for the Houston Texans and the Indianapolis Colts.
This defense is going to swarm. This defense is going to make Anthony Richardson look silly, and they're going to take the air out of that stadium very quickly. I'm telling you, they are going to hunt. We have not seen Will Anderson Jr. and Daniil Hunter on the same defensive line yet, and they're going to get that opportunity. Like I said, there is a lot of pressure surrounding Anthony Richardson, and I cannot wait to just burst that bubble. I know Derek's laughing and smiling and shaking his head, but that's the reality of what's going to happen. This Houston Texans defense, led by our head coach, D'Amico Ryans, is going to be ready for whatever they have. And, man, like I said, after the game, they're going to be talking about this defense more than the offense.
The defensive line ain't going to do shit against that offensive line. Ain't going to do shit.
We'll see.
Oh, folks, listen, these takes are fire hot. And I appreciate each and every single one of them. Like I said, that segment is powered by BetUS, the best place on the face of the planet. Now, guys, I did want to give an opportunity for all of you to give a message to your fan base going into week 1, because obviously there's a lot of anxiety going into this NFL season. So many expectations. Everyone is currently undefeated. Everybody is 0-0. I'm going to start off with Ruben. Ruben, give us your message to Houston Texans fans going into the season.
Man, this is the one that we've been waiting for, guys. And, this is the most confident I ever felt in a Houston Texans team. I think in all three phases of this team, they look good. Even our special teams look good with Tommy Rocket back there at punter. You got a coach in D'Amico. You got a franchise quarterback. You know what the goals are. We've all talked about it. Now it's just time to do it.
Derek, what do you got for the Colts fan base, man?
Colts Nation, listen. There has never been a more important game one in recent memory. It is time. We need to show up. We need to be loud. We need to support this team. Everyone's doubting the Indianapolis Colts, especially in this group right here, except for Dalton. Dalton gets the pass because he actually did pick them. But I will say again, as far as this season goes, these guys are counting the Colts out, man. We have got to remain strong and let this team know we're behind them. The Colts are not going anywhere. Let's get the dub week 1, baby.
This is our Colts. This is our team.
Are you gonna put out a music? Please put out a video before the game.
He said if he loses, he's gonna do the video.
I will.
He said if he loses.
You know what? If Cody and I are going down to the game on Sunday, I will make a video of us singing that anthem, and I will send it to you guys. I promise.
Well, that means Ruben has to do something if he loses. What do you want Ruben to do?
I'll let him. You know what? Listen. The last time that we saw someone putting stuff out on the internet saying that they would do something if their team loses.
Oh my God!
We saw what's happening. I don't want to go zero dark.
Oh, man. Well, you know what, guys? Listen, definitely smash that like button if you want us to implement a punishment system in the AFC South Roundtable. I think that would be pretty funny. Dalton, give us your message to the Jaguars fans leading up to week 1.
Look, guys, all 4 members of this panel picked the Jaguars to lose, okay? We got them right where we want them, okay? We want people to be sleeping on these Jaguars. We want to be the hunter and not the hunted, okay? This is right where we want people, okay? Keep sleeping on the Jaguars. Keep sleeping on just how good Trevor Lawrence is when, he actually isn't hurt. Keep sleeping on the fact that, we have a really good wide receiver group. Keep sleeping on the fact that, we had 2 double-digit sackers in 2023, and we added Eric Armstead to that mix as well. And I just want them to keep sleeping because I think that this is where the Jacksonville Jaguars are the most dangerous.
I love it. Now, Titans Rossi. The sneaky loaded Titans, bro. Talk to
us. Hey, man, that was a heck of a show, too. So appreciate the
talk to us, man.
Idea.
Message to tighten up. Talk to us.
Yeah, man. I mean, I think a lot of people are sleeping on the Titans in a sense that I feel like a lot of people out there think the Titans are just going to get, blown out in all these games and this and that. And it's funny because a lot of these people don't look at what they've really done. I mean, their roster is completely different. I mean, 13 new starters. I mean, it's absolutely insane the difference in the roster. And they won 6 games last year. They were competitive. And I believe a lot of that had to do kind of with the Mike Vrabel type of mentality. And it'll be interesting to see what Callahan could do. This first game is super important, just like any team's first game. But with the way the Titans' schedule was set up, it's a pretty tough schedule, the way that it's logistically set up and how some of these games are back to back to back. So I think that the Titans would fare very well to win this game. I think it would set them up nicely. And look, Titans fans, let's have our boys back. Let's have Mr. Mayo's back, man. Let's see what happens. Maybe he can pull it off.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in to another edition of the AFC South Roundtable. Next week, we are going to be recapping all of week 1, previewing week 2. Either Ruben or Derek are going to be very happy and one of them will be very sad on week 2. So if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, turn on bell notifications, and we'll see you next week, same time, same place.